In the kingdom of Nimra, only daughters could rule. Queen Serena was loved by the sea and her people. And now, she was expecting a child. The kingdom waited to see if it would be a girl. If so, she would inherit the throne. Everyone hoped for a daughter. Everyone except one. Valora, Serena's younger sister, stood nearby. She was next in line, until this child arrived.
If she gives birth to a girl, that means I'll lose everything. No, I won't allow that happen. Not when I'm still alive.
She had waited too long to be forgotten now. That same week, a pregnant woman from another clan arrived in the city. Her name was Meera. She was quiet, kind, and just passing through. Valora didn't see a visitor. She saw an opportunity. In a dark cave under the palace, she met with Nida, one of the royal maidens.
My sister will soon give birth to a girl. Meera is carrying a boy. I want us to switch the babies before sunrise.
You can't ask this, and I don't think I can do it.
I'm not asking, it's a command.
Nida was loyal, but fear speaks louder than loyalty. The storm came with thunder. 2 babies were born that night, 1 girl, 1 boy. Nida made the switch in silence. The real princess was taken to Meera. The baby boy was laid in the queen's arms. By morning, the kingdom believed Queen Serena had birthed a son.
You have done your part. Now one more.
My lady, what else do you want me to do?
You have to take the secret with you.
Nida never left that cave, and the lie became law. When Queen Serena woke after giving birth, she asked for her daughter, but they placed a baby boy in her arms. She stared at him, confused. He didn't carry the mark of a future queen.
No, where is she? Where is my daughter?
My queen, you had a son, not a daughter.
No one answered her eyes. A son could not rule, and her hope began to fade. That night, Valora came to Serena's bedside. She brought a warm drink. Calming herbs, she said. But hidden in the cup was a poison drawn from reef root. It had no taste, only purpose.
You'll get through this. The sea may still bless you with a daughter someday.
But she was meant to rule.
Serena drank every drop. Her breath slowed, and the last thing she saw was Valora smiling. At sunrise, Serena was found still and silent. No wounds, no signs of struggle. The palace said she died of grief. The people believed it.
With no daughter left, the throne passes to the next of the bloodline, Valora.
Yes, it is her right. She is the heir next to the throne.
I never wanted this, but I will not let the kingdom fall.
And so she became queen, not because the sea chose her, but because the truth had been buried. Far from the palace, in the quiet waters of Clan Elor, Meera believed the child was hers. She named her Elira.
You're mine. Born under strong waves. We'll always have each other.
She didn't know the baby wasn't hers. She didn't question it, and the sea didn't correct her. Not yet. Back in Nimra, Valora stood before the altar. Priestesses lit the sacred fires. The people knelt. But something was missing. The sea stayed still.
From now on, Valora of the royal line now rules as Queen of Nimra.
The crowd clapped softly. The water gave no sign, but no one dared question it. Elira grew up strong, fast and thoughtful. She loved swimming far from the village. Sitting alone and listening, the sea made sounds only she could hear.
You're calling me. I just don't know why.
She didn't understand what she was feeling, but something inside her knew. This wasn't where her story ended. Years passed, but something in the ocean changed. Storms came out of season. Warm waters turned cold. Fish swam away from the city. The high priestess noticed. The queen did not.
The sea is watching, but it isn't listening.
The ocean hadn't forgotten. It was waiting to be corrected. Elira dove deep one afternoon, chasing a fish she had never seen before. She didn't notice the sudden current. It pulled her down fast. She couldn't breathe, couldn't swim up. Then the water around her changed, softened. Something unseen helped her float to safety. She woke, coughing, confused.
There was someone down there, watching me.
You were lucky. You need to rest now.
Elira didn't believe it was luck. She felt like the sea had protected her. That night, Elira had a dream. A throne made of coral stood underwater. It cracked apart. The sea filled with red. A woman cried, but no sound came out, and the moon above turned away. She woke up shaking.
I don't know that place, but it feels like it remembers me.
She didn't know what it meant, but her connection to the sea was getting stronger, and the ocean was beginning to remember too. The coral beds in Nimra had always bloomed, every century, without fail. Until now, this season, the coral turned pale and brittle. The harvest died before it began. Fishermen called it strange. The high priestess called it something else.
The sea is not sick. It is sending us a warning.
No one wanted to believe it, but the sea had started to pull away. Elira went diving near the reef wall. The current was stronger than she expected. It pulled her down fast. She couldn't fight it, but then the water calmed. It wrapped around her gently, like arms, and just before she passed out, she saw something in the deep, a shape, watching her.
There was someone down there. Not a fish, not a shadow, a person.
You were lucky. Never swim alone again.
But Elira didn't believe it was luck. She felt chosen. That night, Elira dreamt again. She saw a throne made of coral break in half. The sea turned red. A woman cried beneath the surface. The moon above faded from view. She woke with tears in her eyes and sand in her fists.
Why does it feel like I was meant to be there?
She didn't know where there was, but she knew the ocean was starting to tell her. Nimra's entire city was powered by its tide channel, an underwater current that flowed in a perfect loop. One day it slowed, not stopped, just stuttered. That had never happened before.
This only happens when the throne is empty.
If so, then keep it full.
But the sea had already made its decision. It was just waiting to be heard. 3 days before the storm came, Elira already knew. She warned Meera. She told the elders. She moved the children inland. When the surge finally hit, no one was hurt.
Elira, how did you know that?
I just felt it, like the ocean whispered.
After that, people watched her differently. They didn't fear her. They listened. Elira swam to the reef wall, where she once found a glowing shellstone. She touched it again. This time, it cracked open in her hands. Inside was a carving, an old royal mark, one that only someone from Nimra's bloodline could reveal.
Why me? What does this even mean?
The sea didn't answer, but it had just given her a piece of her truth. The kingdom was changing. Floods came without warning. Fish left the reef. Even the coral walls near the palace started to split, and then one day, the throne itself cracked. The high priestess said nothing at first, but she knew.
The throne is bleeding because it belongs to someone else.
Valora kept smiling in public, but the sea wasn't smiling back. A young swimmer got trapped during a cave dive. No one could reach her. The current was too strong, except for Elira. She dove in fast, like she already knew the path. The sea moved around her. She brought the child out, safe.
How did you know where to go?
The current showed me.
People didn't question her anymore. They believed her. That night, Elira sat beside Meera in the moonlight. She asked the question she had carried for years.
Am I really yours?
You were placed in my arms by the sea. I've loved you from the first moment. That's all I know.
Elira didn't push for more. She wasn't angry. She just felt something bigger waking inside her. The high priestess lit the sacred flame before the throne. It went out. She tried again. It sparked, then faded. Behind her, the coral wall holding the throne began to fall apart, slow, steady, quiet.
The sea will always remember who it belongs to.
She didn't say it out loud, not yet, but the ocean was no longer hiding the truth. A merchant passed through Elor, trading salt thread and coral beads. He brought more than goods. He brought a story.
They say Queen Serena had a daughter, but the baby disappeared before she died. Strange, right?
I heard she had a son.
That's what they told the people.
Meera said nothing else, but that night, she sat long beside Elira as she slept, watching. Elira swam back to the reef wall. She placed her hand on the stone without thinking. It pulsed. A deep glow lit the reef, and for a second, her fingers glowed too.
You know me, but I don't know myself yet.
The sea had never spoken so clearly, and she was almost ready to listen. The sea began calling louder. Elira couldn't explain it. She just knew she had to go. She swam beyond the reef, past the caves, and into deep water. There she found a ruined stone gate covered in coral. It didn't open for anyone else, but when she touched it, the doors opened like they remembered her.
Were you all waiting for me?
Small sea creatures circled her. They didn't attack. They bowed. Back in Nimra, the tide ritual began. It had never failed before, but this time the waves didn't rise. The light didn't come. Nothing answered the Queen's call.
She is not the one the sea listens to.
The gods test us. They do not abandon us.
But in the crowd, some turned away, because even they could feel it now. The sea had stopped listening. Elira returned home with the sigil stone. She opened her hand, and it floated, glowing above her palm. Meera saw it, and for the first time in 16 years, her voice cracked.
Where did you get that? That's not something I could have given you.
The lie began to crack, just like the coral throne. The court gathered for a normal meeting, but before the Queen could speak, the coral beneath the throne gave way. The seat of power cracked down the center and slid into the sand.
This isn't natural. The throne is breaking.
No, the throne is giving itself back.
The sea had stayed quiet long enough. That evening, Meera led Elira to the village shrine. She didn't cry, but her voice shook.
You were handed to me the night Queen Serena died. I didn't question it. But now I know. I should have.
Then, whose daughter am I?
The sea already knew. It was time Elira did, too. Far out beyond the reef, where the ruins slept, something shifted. The tide split. A beam of light shot upward through the water. And in Nimra, the waves near the palace pulled away, as if the ocean itself had taken a breath.
She's waking. She is alive.
The girl the sea had hidden was finally rising. When the sea split and light rose from the ruins, people across the reeflands took it as a sign. Meera didn't wait. She left with Elira before dawn. They didn't say goodbye. The current would carry them to Nimra.
Whatever you are, the sea is calling you home.
And Elira didn't fight it. She just followed the pull. In Nimra, the sea was changing faster. The reef near the palace cracked again. Strange sea creatures appeared near the walls, ones that hadn't been seen in years. They did not attack. They just waited.
They are not ours. They are not hers. Where could this come from?
Because they had come for someone else. That night, Elira dreamed again. But this time, she wasn't watching the throne break. She was sitting on it. The sea below didn't rage. It sang.
I don't want it, but I think it wants me.
The High Priestess dug through the oldest records, ones sealed during Serena's rule. She found a scroll wrapped in pearl thread. It spoke of a prophecy. A daughter born under the twin moons shall hold the sea and the land, but if taken, the sea shall not serve until she returns.
She was not stillborn. She was stolen.
The truth had waited long enough. As Elira and Meera reached the outer gates, guards rose from the seabed. Before they could speak, the sea split between them. A path of clear water opened to the gate. The guards stepped back,
She walks with the tide.
and the city opened its arms, though it didn't yet know why. Queen Valora stood alone on the coral balcony. The current moved in a strange pattern. The waves bent away from her, not around her. She gripped the rail. For the first time since wearing the crown, she was afraid.
No, this is impossible. She can't be alive.
Elira entered the city of Nimra, not as a guest, but as someone the sea had claimed. The tide shimmered behind her. The coral towers hummed with life again. The guards did not question her. They stepped aside,
She walks like the throne was never empty.
because to the ocean, it never had been. Valora watched from the highest balcony, her grip tight on the railing. The sea moved around the city but would not touch the palace. She heard the silence in the water, and that silence felt like judgment.
Not after all this. She can't take what I became. No.
But the crown had never truly belonged to her, and now it was coming back to its source. Elira returned to the ancient reef temple, abandoned since Serena's death. She placed her hand on the altar. The cracks in the walls sealed. Light flooded the chamber, and for the first time, the sea sang her name aloud.
The bloodline speaks. The sea obeys. The heir has returned.
Before the people of Nimra, The high priestess raised the scroll wrapped in pearl thread. She read the prophecy. She named the lost child. She called Elira by her full name.
Elira Tideborn, daughter of Queen Serena, heir of the twin moons.
Serena had a daughter, and she lived.
The truth had been buried for 16 years. Now it moved like a wave through the kingdom. That night, Valora approached Elira with a golden chalice. She spoke softly. She wore the mask of peace, but inside the cup was the same poison she once used to kill her sister.
A gesture of unity. May the sea bind us, not divide us.
But this time, the sea did not stay silent. The current beneath the throne stirred. The priestess stepped in.
Hey, Elira, don't take it. Go away from her.
The guard stepped forward, but Elira raised a hand. She didn't look at Valora with hate, only sadness.
You tried to erase me twice. You won't get a third chance.
Valora was taken from the hall, not in chains, but with the sea pulling away from her footsteps. Valora was brought to the Tide Tribunal. The same poison she offered was placed before her. The priestesses did not need to speak. The sea had already judged.
The ocean gave you power. You answered with silence and death.
She drank the cup. No screams, no denial. Just the slow fall of a queen who was never meant to wear the crown. With Valora gone, the priestesses turned to Elira. The people bowed. But Elira didn't race toward power. She walked toward it, calm and clear.
I will guide the kingdom, but I will not rule with fear. The sea must never be silent again.
And the sea moved in quiet agreement. Meera was brought before the sacred flame. She had no title, but she had raised a queen. The priestesses bowed first, then the people.
You were the mother who gave me to the sea and never took me back.
The sky darkened, and for the first time since Serena's death, both moons rose together over Nimra. The sea glowed beneath them. The current settled. The reefs sang.
The moons have returned to their balance. So also has the crown.
The sea had waited a long time for its daughter. Elira stood in front of the coral throne, fully restored. She placed the royal sigil inside it, but did not sit.
The ocean raised me. Nimra needs more than a ruler. It needs a listener.
She would wear no crown, but the sea already followed her voice. Meera left quietly. Elira watched her go, knowing she would never have to wonder where her heart belonged.
I'm not the sea's queen. I'm its memory.
And as both moons touched the water, the tide whispered her name. A story stolen, a crown returned, a daughter of the deep whole again.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more inspiring stories and content.